Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Navyendra. Today our topic is web design. Now check here. Our first task is we are going to divide a web page into two horizontal frames. Then we divide second horizontal frame into two vertical frames. And then we move on to designing of all the web pages that are required to fit in the frames, and then we link up all the web pages to the frames. Then we see how a simple web page will be designed and how it will appear. So the first step is we are going to divide a web page into two horizontal frames. That is a simple task. Just check here once. Let us consider that this is our full web page. Now my aim is to divide this web page into frames, and how we are going to divide is, firstly I divide a web page into two horizontal frames. Let us check here 1 and 2. 1 is first part of the web page and 2 is second part of the web page. 1 is a separate horizontal frame and 2 is a separate horizontal frame. That is my first step. And then I will divide the second horizontal frame into two vertical frames. This is our layout. Now check here once. You can easily get a basic idea of what we are going to do. See, I am going to divide a single web page into three frames. Firstly, we divide this web page into two frames, 1 and 2, two horizontal frames. Again, I divide this frame 2 into two vertical frames. This is our task. In this first frame, simply I will give a name, simple web design, for displaying purpose. Next, when you check here, in part 1 of second frame, I am giving three options: open Google, HTML color codes, and an option register. Three options I am going to provide here. Just it is a simple menu. With this, user can do some task. By using these menu options, user can perform a simple task or action. Next, this part 2 of the second frame contains a simple basic information. This is the normal text and it doesn't do any task, just it is for the display purpose. This is what we are going to learn today: how to divide a web page into frames and how to link up web pages with the frames. This is our main task today. Now let's go to our code. Once again check the objective. What is our first step? We are going to divide a web page into two horizontal frames. This is our first task. For that, just observe the code. Oh shit, Now once have a look at this one. WEEK2 objective: divide a web page into two horizontal frames. divide a web page into two horizontal frames. This is our main task. Now check here. I'll explain you the code. I have opened the code. What is our first step? Our first step is to divide a web page into frames. For that we use frame set tag. Next, how we thought to divide? We thought to divide the web page into rows. So check here that rows is the attribute we are using. Next, here we can specify in percentage format. 13% is size of the first part and 87% is size of the second part. You can change this. For simply displaying a heading like simple web page design, 13% is enough, and remaining area I am using for second frame. Here check here observe, frame set is the tag used to divide our web page into frames. And next check here, frame is the tag used to specify code for each and every separate frame. Here I have used frame tag and I named it as frame 2, and then SRC stands for source. It indicates that where is the content that is to be displayed in this frame 2 on the web page. Now check here. Frame 2 is the name of the first frame and frame 3 is the name of the second frame. We can give any type of name, that is your wish. Observe here I have taken a HTML file, that is head.html. It has some content to display in first frame, and I have taken one more file, frame2.html. These two are the separate code files like main.html. Now check the file head.html. It simply contains a text, simple web page. Now check here, it just contains the text simple web design. Its font size is 20 and color I have mentioned in orange. These two are the attributes I am using to produce a desired text, and font is the tag which is used to specify size, color and style of these fonts that appear on HTML web page. And now check that I have given some background color, that is the hexadecimal code that I have got from HTML color picker. Simply observe here, it contains a simple web design text. Now I am closing this one. It is a separate file. Now check here, I can run this file. Just give a right click, next choose open with, and then choose Firefox. We have got some text, simple web design in orange color, and the background you can observe here. This is the background color we have got from the given HTML code, #def752. These are the codes that we can directly get from HTML color picker. You just type in the Google that HTML color codes. It will generate different color codes. It gives different websites for color picking. Whenever you place mouse on any color that appears on the web page, it will simply produce a hexadecimal color code. You can simply copy and paste it here. You can simply copy and paste it here. Now one more file is there. Head.html we have observed. Now check frame2.html. Now check here. This frame2.html is for completely making this second part. It has two partitions. This is a separate frame 2.1 and this is a separate frame 2.2. Now check the code once. Check the code. Here I have used frame set tag to divide web page into two parts, 33 and 67%. I am using the attribute COLS. Now check here. I have used 33% of the space for first part and 67% of the space for second part. That is finished. Now I am giving names for these two frames. VF1 is the name for first frame of second part and VF2 is the name for second part of the second frame. Now check here. Menu.html is the content page for frame 1 and frame3.html is the content page for VF2. Now check the files menu.html and now check the file menu.html. It has the content. Choose any of the following. Now it contains three links: open Google, HTML color codes, and the third option is register. To open the Google form, we can simply click on open Google in the website, and what happens in the background is anchor is the tag which simply stands for A. It has the attribute href. Here we have assigned URL of Google website for the link open Google. Whenever user clicks on this open Google, it will simply direct the user to Google website. And the next link is HTML color codes. Here I have mentioned HTML color codes web address. Whenever user clicks on HTML color codes, it simply directs the user to HTML color codes website. Now check the third option, register. Whenever user clicks on this register option, it will calls the file reg.html. It will contain some code. It will be run automatically whenever user clicks on this register, and it will give some new inputs. Now check three files. One is menu.html. We have already gone through that. And the second is reg.html. And one more thing is frame3.html. Now check here. It simply contains a text. This is a normal text. Now I am closing this file. Now check the file reg. Open this file. We will clearly observe line by line. Once we will have a look at web page, then we come back to reg.html file and we will discuss step by step. Now click on this. I am clicking on this register. Now check the file here. It is a simple registration page. It has lot of fields. We call this first name as label and this one as text box. All these are similar. Next, coming to body, we have a attribute type to input tag. Whenever we specify date, automatically it appears like this. Calendar is added to this input type. Now observe here, this is one more label. Whenever I give a click on this, it simply displays all the possible options. Now check here, we have 4 options. When do we use these type of select options are whenever anything has few possible choices, few limited possible choices, then we go for this option. Next, these are called as radio buttons. When do we go for these radio buttons is whenever we have one and only one possible value for any attribute, then we simply make use of these radio buttons. Suppose when coming to gender, only 2 possibilities, either male or female. And next you observe here, these rectangular boxes are treated as check boxes. These check boxes are utilized when any attribute has multiple options. Suppose let us consider that a person have a platina bike, an Enfield bike and a car. All these 3 things can also be choices for a single person. In such a case, we make use of these check boxes. Simply our today's task is we will design this registration form, we will design this page, and link all these 3 things together. We will execute how it will appear. Now check the code for this registration form. And one more thing we have to discuss is this rectangular box is called as legend. Simply remember that this rectangular box is there around all these fields. This is called as a legend. Now go to code once. Our file name is reg. Opening it with help of notepad. Now check here. All the HTML document starts with the code HTML tag, and the next line is body. All the content will be held in body of the web page, and here I have used an attribute BZ color. This is the color code I have got from HTML color picker from the Google. Next important thing is form tag. Whenever we are designing any pages like this, we simply make use of form tag. Next, field set. Labels, input tag, all these are called as field set. Fields. To make use of these many fields, simply we enclose all these fields in between field set opening and closing tag. Now check here, this is the field set tag. To enclose all the labels, inputs, buttons, whatever it may be we produce on the page, we simply enclose these things in between field set opening and closing tags. Now check here, all the fields are surrounded by a rectangular box that is treated as legend, and in between this rectangular box we have got a text personal info, that is from this tag legend. Whatever the text you keep here, that will be appeared here. Once you check, there is a text personal info that is appeared here. Now if I change it, suppose if I change it to personal information, I am saving this file. Now come to our web page and check here. Here you can observe that personal information, it is displayed as personal information. Suppose if I keep my name there, it will be appeared in that rectangular box. This is for just indicating the page. And move on to next line, label. Here I have used a tag label. I'm using it for giving first name. So for is the attribute to hold purpose of this label, just it holds a name. This is also completely user defined. Here I have specified f name, it stands for first name. I can specify my name, your name, but it must be meaningful. That is why I named it as f name. Next, check here input box. Input is the tag to design text boxes like this. Here you can observe these three white boxes. These are called as text boxes. If we want to design text boxes, we need to make use of this input tag. Here I have mentioned input and type equal to text, id equal to first name and name equal to f name. We have used three attributes. Type equal to text, it indicates that this box is going to be used to fill some text by the user. Next, id, this is the separate identification given to this field, and name. Here we have mentioned these two similarly. These two can be dissimilar also, that is not an issue. These are especially utilized when we process this data and send it to database. At the time of taking the data from the HTML page, id and name are utilized. Okay, now check these two things, first name and input text box tag. For these two lines of code, check the output. This first name colon a text box will be appeared for those two lines of code. I need last name, email in the same way. That is why I have taken label for more number of times and input for more number of times. For each and every input box, I have taken label and input tag. Now check here. Here I have used some new terminology, ampersand NBSP. It is used to produce a single space on our HTML web page. Now check here, first name is coming to this point and last name also coming to this point, but when you check email, it is stopping here. If I don't use ampersand NBSP here, simply this text box will be joined immediately after this colon. So from the appearance point of view, I have used this ampersand NBSP. This is used to get the space like this. Here after the email, in between email and text box, we have got some space because of this ampersand NBSP. Each and every ampersand NBSP will give us a single space. So I have used this. Next, check here, this is normal tag as similar to f name. These three are same, but coming to this birthday, here whenever you click, we are getting a calendar to choose date of birth. How we are getting is, now go to code and have a look at this. Check here, I have used a label tag similar to above 3, and for the purpose I have said birthday. This is user defined. Here I have mentioned something birthday colon, label is finished. Now coming to input, previously it is text, but you observe here, now it is the date. Whenever you mention type as date, then what happens is, here it adds a calendar to this input field. Whenever you say type equal to date, simply it will add a calendar to this text field. User can easily choose the birthday from the calendar. This is the use of type variable and especially value date to the type or type attribute of input tag. Now we are clear that if we want to get calendar for input box, we have to say that type equal to date for the input tag. Very simple thing, we no need to do anything more than that. Just to check here, type equal to date, it will produce a calendar. User can simply choose whatever the dates that are required. Now observe here, this is called as select tag. We have a select tag in HTML to produce predefined set of values to any attribute. Now let us go to code. Check here, label, I am giving name as choose a district, that is my label. We are already aware of this. Coming to select tag, observe here, select name equal to dist, id equal to dist. I have mentioned here. Now come to options. You observe here, I have 4 districts information: Guntur, Vijayawada, West Godavari and East Godavari. Each and every value is mentioned as a value to option tag under select tag. Clearly observe here, select is the main tag to give set of predefined options to the attribute. For that we make use of select, give a name and id as your wish. Now close this one. In between this opening select and closing select, we give multiple options. Here I have 4 values: Guntur, Vijayawada, West Godavari and East Godavari. I have given 4 values. For each and every value we utilize option tag, value equal to whatever it may be the value that we want to give. Okay, here what is the use of value is, once check here, whenever user chooses Vijayawada, the value of this option will be taken. Suppose whenever user chooses Vijayawada, this value will be taken in the background. Whenever we process this data to upload into database, the value will be utilized, whatever it may be. Suppose here if I keep VJA and in the value I mention Vijayawada, whenever user chooses VJA, simply Vijayawada will be taken. Suppose let us say that here I am mentioning VJA for the display purpose. Okay, user chooses VJA. Whenever user chooses VJA, in the background this value will be considered, Vijayawada will be taken. That is the use of value in all the tags. Now check here, these are called as radio buttons. These are also can be generated with the help of same input tag, but simply we mention type as radio. This also contains same attributes, id, name and value. Check here, I am giving labels male and female. Immediately after the label it will have a button, round boxes. Observe here, whenever user click on this, in the background this value will be taken. And observe here, there is lot of difference between radio buttons and checkboxes. Radio buttons are utilized to give a single value for an entity, and coming to checkboxes, we can specify any number of values. Suppose coming to a person, he can be male or female, and coming to a single person, he can own different vehicles. In such a case, he can choose all the options. Whenever user wants to give more than one value, in such a case we provide checkboxes. Whenever a user is strictly confined to a single value, then we give radio buttons. Simply check here, type equal to radio, id and name are same. Next check here, second one, second radio button I have mentioned female. And here the common thing that we have to observe is, whenever coming to name, both the names specify that only the thing gender. We must be careful with this. If we are giving these two separate names for these two, then our code will be changed. in the background, whenever we access values for gender, we may get different values. So whenever we are utilizing radio buttons, we must give same name for each and every radio button. That is the thing we have to remember. Now move on to checkboxes. For the radio buttons, we mention type as radio. Simply for the checkboxes, we mention type equal to checkboxes. ID and name are same. Next, these options are also same. Labels are for completely user reading purpose. Whenever user sees web page, he must be able to read the web page. That is the purpose of giving these labels. Now check here. To get this checkbox, we use this line of code. Input type equal to checkbox, ID equal to vehicle 1. These are user defined. We can specify any name here and value also. Now coming to this label, this is for user readability purpose. Whenever user ticks this first checkbox, it indicates that I have a Platina, and user ticks this second checkbox, I have an Enfield, and user ticks this third checkbox, it indicates that I have a car. What is the advantage of these checkboxes? Are a single entity can have multiple values. That is the advantage of this. And next, we have completed all of these fields. Now check here. We have something at the end, submit. To get this, we simply make use of input tag, type equal to submit, value equal to submit. Suppose if I give value as continue, it will be displayed on this button here. We have successfully completed registration form. Now again check here, very simple thing, two things mainly. One is label and the other is input. Coming to input, same input tag will behave in different ways based upon the value for the attribute type. Type equal to text, it will produce text box. Whenever we give type equal to date, it will give a calendar. Whenever we give type equal to radio, it will give us radio buttons. Whenever we give type equal to checkbox, it will give us checkboxes. Whenever we give type equal to submit, it will give us a button which is used for submit. I am closing this file. Now check here. Here I have kept two more things. Whenever user clicks on this register, this page will be appeared here. Next, whenever user clicks on HTML color codes, it will direct the user to choose color codes. Check here. Next, whenever user chooses this one, open Google, it will redirect the user to Google website. Observe here. These three are the very basic things. The next thing which we are going to understand is how to link up all these three things and keep all these three things on a single web page. Now go to our code. Observe here once. Check here. Open this simple code. HTML tag, we are already aware of this. This one also we are already aware of this. Next, come to frame set tag. I have already told you that our aim is to divide web page into two parts. First one is this one, to display the name simple web design. Next, this is the second part. To divide our web page into two parts, I am using frame set tag. Rows equal to 13%, 87%, 20, 80, whatever it may be, 50, 50, 199, however it may be. However you wish to give, you can give the values. Next, come here, come to frame tag. Here I have mentioned two parts, 13% is one part and 87% is one more part. For first part, I am giving frame tag once, and for the second part I am giving this frame tag again. For the first part, I am giving name as frame 2. and src. I have partitioned my web page into two parts. I have partitioned my web page with that line of code, and the next thing is what I have to keep here, what I have to keep in the second part, that is specified by this src tag, src head.html. Head.html simply contains a text that is written by me. Here, check here. Head.html, it has a simple text, a simple web design. All these are other attributes to this text to make it to give it some better appearance. Simple web design. HTML, we are already aware of this tag. This closing tag also we are already aware. And body, bg color, we can get it from HTML color picker. Check here. Suppose if I place the cursor here, hexadecimal code is being generated. Now copy this and we can assign to this bg color attribute. I have done the same. Next thing is I am using font tag, size equal to 20 and color equal to orange. Font tag is to give separate font style to our text. I want to display this text in orange color, so I have mentioned orange here. Next, I have given size equal to 20. You can increase or decrease, depends on your requirement. Now I have closed font tag. Close the tag B. Here B is used to give bold appearance to our text. Close the bold tag and body tag. Now the HTML tag. Close this head file. Simply you have got an idea that head.html contains a simple text simple web design. Now check frame2.html. Here once you observe, again I am dividing my web page into two parts. This time you observe here we have COLS argument. COLS is utilized to divide our web page into parts by column wise. First part size is 33% and the other size is 67%. For the first part I am using frame tag, and for the second part I am using frame tag again. I have mentioned VF1 and VF2 as names. src. The content for this first part is available in menu.html file, and the content for this second part is available in frame3.html file. Once we check menu.html, now check here, HTML is the opening tag. This is not case sensitive. Now body tag, this is also we are already aware of this. Next, center tag. Whenever we wish to display any content in center of our web page, simply we make use of the center tag. It has only three things. They are the options we are giving to user. Before these three, I have displayed the text. Choose any of the following. After this text, I have got open Google, HTML color codes, register. Once observe here, like this. Now check here. Anchor is the tag, href is the attribute. Here I have mentioned Google web address. You can easily observe here. Whenever you open the google.com, you can observe here https://www.google.com. I have mentioned the same here as href, value to href. As I wish to open the Google web page, whenever user clicks on the text, open Google. Next, I have mentioned a separate attribute, target equal to _blank. This is utilized for opening this web page in a new tab. Next, observe here, href equal to https://htmlcolorcodes.com color picker. This is to open this website. Whenever give a click on whenever user gives a click on HTML color codes. Now check here. Here also I have mentioned the target equal to _blank. This is used to display the web page in new tab. Observe here, whenever user clicks on this, a new tab is being opened with the help of target attribute. Next, observe here, open Google. This is also being displayed in a separate tab, and this one as well. But coming to this, whenever I click on register, it is being displayed in this frame. How it is happening is, observe target value VF2. VF2 is name of this frame. Whenever I mention target as this frame name, the content will be displayed in that target frame. I have mentioned target equal to VF2, that is why whenever I give a click on this register, my registration page is being displayed in this frame. Observe here. Now save the code. Next thing is frame3.html. Open this. It simply contains a normal text. These two tags, we are already aware of all these three things. Next, check here. This training program allows you to go through basic HTML, PHP and MySQL. Now closing the file. Main is the file which holds links to all the web pages. Now click on this one. Simple web design. This text is separately held in a web page, that is head.html. We have already gone through this one. Next, coming to this, all this content is separately held in a web page, that is menu. We have already gone through this menu.html. Now coming to this, all this information is separately held in a web page, frame3.html. We have just gone through this one. And coming to main.html, which holds links to two frames, that is head.html and frame2.html. Head.html indicates this part, frame2 indicates this part. This is not the single file. Again, frame2.html holds links to two files, menu and frame3.html. Observe here. This is how we have to link up the web pages whenever we are utilizing frames. If we are using a single frame like horizontal or vertical frames, one file is enough. Whenever we are mixing up horizontal and vertical frames, then we definitely need two types of frames. This is what we have to do whenever we are utilizing frames. Two tasks. First, we have to divide our web page into frames. Then we need to design all the web pages that are required. At the end, we have to link up all the web pages. Now check here once. Firstly, we have divided web page into two horizontal frames. Next, we have divided second horizontal frame into two vertical frames. Then we have designed all the web pages, and then we linked up all the web pages to the frames. This is what we have done today. Thank you. Thanks for watching. In the next session, we will see how to send this user entered data into MySQL database. Before that, we have some prerequisites to be done in our laptop. In the next video, I will explain all the prerequisites for MySQL and PHP execution. Thank you. Thanks for watching.